So the Detroit Pistons hang on against the Atlanta Hawks for a hard-fought win. But if I'm honest with y'all, as amazing as Cade Cunningham was in the first half, there was a lot to take away from this game that is going to lead to some pretty intentional film sessions, I believe. I think JB Bickerstaff and his coaching staff are going to look at this game and be like, there's some things that we're going to need to do different as we move forward. Because teams are starting to figure out how to game plan against the Detroit Pistons, how to stay in games with them and to negate some of the strengths of this team. And I want to get into that in this video. But before I do, this video is brought to you by Bridges and Stone's Family and Relationship Care. Just like you can get a coach to help you with your jump shot, help you with the ball handling, help you with your defense, you can also get a coach to help you with your relationships, to help you with tough decisions coming in life, to help you work through grief and loss. Contact Bridges and Stones today for a well-trained life coach that can help you with your toughest moments. Contact Bridges and Stones today. The link is in the description box below. You know, when I watch this game, man, everything that I would keep getting frustrated with the Detroit Pistons about, despite all the praise, like, look, y'all know I'm going to bring the balanced view. I'm not going to just jump on a bandwagon. I'm not just going to, hop on whatever, fun thing people are saying about a team at a certain moment. I'm just going to give you the real of what I see. Having coached, having trained, having played, competed, traveled, played in different settings, different styles, everything from street ball to international ball to organized up and down systems to half court oriented offenses, playing point guard, coaching and developing athletes from kindergarten all the way through college and professional. I've seen a lot. And this game, there was a lot to take a look at. And I think the first thing that I would point out is discipline. The Detroit Pistons lack a lot of discipline. They are extremely talented. Asar Thompson is an enigma. Jalen Duren is a untapped, absolute behemoth of a player with his skill, his agility, his explosiveness, his power. Then you have Cade Cunningham, who's just probably the smoothest, slickest man. We ain't seen anything like him since maybe, I want to say, like Penny Hardaway. His ability to just get to his spots and to operate and manipulate with his handle and to use his body like Brandon Roy type of energy. He's an incredible talent. But here's the thing. The Detroit Pistons' lack of discipline is the reason why they have to play so damn hard against certain teams. So damn hard. They have not perfected, they have not mastered how to make the game easy. And this is what I was essentially looking for from Cade Cunningham. And I think that's something that happened early on was, one, fool's gold. Cade got hot against a great defender in Dyson Daniels. Not a good defender. Not one of the better defenders. A great defender in Dyson Daniels. He got hot. And he mistook him getting hot with what he could expect the rest of the game to be like. He thought that shit was sweet. And in the second half, he got smacked. They started doubling, trapping. They started disrupting his rhythm, his pace, and he completely got undisciplined and forgot for a full quarter exactly how he was supposed to attack Dyson Daniels in the first place. I'm going to get into that more later. Then you have Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren. I'm gonna group them into this at the beginning of the game. That they both got into foul trouble in just the most immature, undisciplined manner. When you are reaching in the early portions of a game, it's something to reach in intentional moments like you might see at Dyson Daniels, where you dig at the ball, but you don't expose yourself. You don't reach when you're out of position, out of place. You don't use reaching for the ball as a way to make up for not being positionally where you're supposed to be. When you're not in position, that's not when you're supposed to reach, it's when you're supposed to recover. So you're supposed to use your feet. And this is the thing that Dyson Daniels does in spades, is that he's constantly moving his feet to get into position and then utilizing his quick hand speed to go for the ball. He understands the art of stealing. Asar Thompson, on the other hand, he's just amazing with his athletic gifts and his determination and intensity and focus to try to go and get the ball. But his lack of discipline gets him out of position. Now, I will say this, that I think JB Bickerstaff really needs to start thinking about who to start Asar Thompson on. I don't think that Asar Thompson, with his lack of discipline, is a good candidate to start against a savvy, one of the savviest, quickest point guards who is going to constantly look to compromise Asar Thompson and try to get a foul on him. And that's what essentially happened very quick. If I'm honest with you, I don't think that is an ideal candidate to start Asar Thompson off. And again, maybe in a pinch, maybe on a switch, maybe in help, maybe on a trap, maybe playing on the weak side, sliding over, rotating. Sure, I think that's great. But starting off in the game, I don't think that he's a good candidate. It's just like I wouldn't start him off on Darius Garland. I wouldn't start him off on that type of a point guard. All that's to say is that the lack of discipline. Jalen Duren also. He gets the first call. All right, the calls in the first half were really rough. They were not getting the whistle. And there were a couple times where Jalen Duren was just a little bit out of position. But here's the thing. When you get the first one early in the first quarter, you know to take a step back. You need to focus on being in the right position, and you're going to be less aggressive defensively. Now, of course, he comes out. He actually ends the game with only 2 fouls, which was pretty incredible. But at the same time, you saw the rest of the game, he was out of it. Defensively, he was not in step with the rest of his teammates. He was constantly a step behind. And that's something I've pointed out many times before. It's not a lack of effort or intensity. It's a mental lapse. It is a being mentally locked in terms of anticipation to be in the right spot and then moving your feet to make sure you get there. When Jalen Duren is getting to the spot in time or early, he's able to make great plays with his hands, whether deflections, steals, blocks, or just challenging with his verticality and clearing the board. I think in this game, he only maybe had 4, 6 rebounds, which is really telling in terms of his ability to stay in the game and how locked in he was or wasn't. But then you have the rest of the team. They missed a lot of open shots in the first half. I think they had many opportunities to blow the game open. But here's the thing. When Asar Thompson came back into the game, they didn't go back to their game plan. Their initial game plan that we've seen over the past 5 games, even though they won this game, it has been that when Asar Thompson is in the game, you allow him to run the point. This allows Cade Cunningham to rest, to take his time. And when you have one of the best on-ball defenders on you, this is even more so a time to allow someone else to initiate offense, starting off the ball, utilizing weak side screens away from the ball so you can come to the ball with Dyson Daniels chasing you. And then if you choose to attack, you have to go immediately and decisively, no hesitation. Because what does Dyson Daniels do when you hesitate, when you pause, when you linger, and you kind of are in that up on your bounce and you're doing that little hezzy, what am I going to do moment? That's when he uses his feet to step into position. And because of his size and his length and his quickness, he's going to constantly be able to knock that ball away. And this is something that Cade Cunningham completely went away from. In the first half, you saw he was attacking him immediately. The moment he got the ball, he was either going into a shot, he was either attacking downhill, getting straight to the rim, putting him on his backside, shooting over the top of him, or he was just catch and shoot. Extremely decisive. But we all know this, and I think the league knows this. And JB Bickerstaff should have been aware of this. Cade Cunningham gasses. I'm not going to say easily, but he gets tired. And he has many telltale signs. One of the first telltale signs that Cade Cunningham is tired is he starts making really lax passes. Not sharp, not threading needles and zipping the ball in there. He begins to kind of loft it a little bit. He tends to throw it a little softly. And what that tells me is he's tired. He's fatigued. Now, here's the thing is Cade Cunningham. You should understand what the scheme is. You should understand the personnel on your team. You should be able to say, hey, you know what? I know when I'm gassed. So when I see Dennis Schroeder bringing the ball up, I let him have it. When I see Dennis Schroeder on the court and I have Dyson Daniels on me, I let him have it. You see, this is the difference between why teams do not double team LeBron James. Because his discipline to do the right thing each and every time. You double LeBron James, he's immediately, matter of fact, he sees the double team coming before it gets there, tells his personnel where to go and where to be before he even allows it to approach. He sees it in their feet. He sees it in their mannerism. He sees it in their eye contact. And then what he does is he'll slow down. He'll tell his offensive player where to be so that the moment they take a step towards him, he's firing that pass when he has space and they can maximize that angle to be able to get a wide open look. You have to have discipline. And this is something that this team lacks. It is a major weakness for them, a major weakness. It's something that going into the playoffs, they are going to have to fine tune. If you face Indiana with Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith and those boys coming at you, TJ McConnell, and you get waves of guards pressuring Cade 92 feet, right? When you get teams with high basketball IQ and depth to be able to pressure you consistently the whole game. Now, if you get the Knicks, okay, you probably lucked out, right? You eat up Jalen Brunson all day and Mikal Bridges and them, well, they're not exactly swift of foot. You know what I mean? Like, these aren't guys who are going to press you 92 feet. Deuce McBride, he might try, but, that's one guy. You're not really worried about him. But then when you look at some of these other teams, right? When you look at Boston, when you look at, well, I wouldn't say Cleveland, but when you got some of these other teams that are going to be right there competing with you, right? These are the teams that you're going to have to learn how to prepare yourself for. And here's the thing. I'm pretty sure in the playoffs, teams are going to find a guy on their roster like Javonte Green in Cleveland to try to deploy to say, we need to wear him out. So you need to have some more discipline. Secondly, you need to attack more methodically. Cade, if they're double teaming you, you should be setting up Tobias Harris to get to his shot in the mid-range. Not just kick out threes, but you want him attacking that paint, getting his feet in the paint. When he does, he's deadly. He's 80% in there. I mean, I'm throwing out that number, but to say that over this stretch, when he gets into the paint with 2 feet, he's pretty deadly. He's either getting to the free throw line or he's hitting his nice little fall away, 8 to 10, 12-foot jump shot. You should be looking for setting up your teammates and trusting them. Jalen Duren, you have to know when it's your time to turn it on. If Cade Cunningham is getting double teamed and you're running 4-on-5 now because you get the ball at the mid post, you should be in attack mode every single time. Matter of fact, you should be demanding the ball from Cade, saying, hey, give it up early. You don't need to wait till they get all the way up to your chest, Cade. The moment they take that step, you should immediately be passing that ball, forcing them to scramble, and then just get the ball back. All right, so these are the disciplinary things. Now, I do think that having someone like Dennis Schroeder, I said this before in my Dennis Schroeder video when he first got traded there, I said he is going to be your closing lineup guard. He is going to be someone who can take that pressure off of Cade Cunningham, and he had a really strong game, right? Not an excellent game. He missed some open looks. Airballed from 3, he wasn't really hot there, but he made great decisions. He was able to get downhill, get into the paint, finish around the rim, get to the free throw line, make his free throws, and he had 7 assists to boot. Like, this is when you see you have help, Cade, you have to use it. JB Bickerstaff, you need to talk to Cade and let him know you have help. Stop trying to attack the other team's best defender. That is going to be your lowest percentage potential opportunity shot every single time. Stop attacking them, especially if you're tired. And if you're going to attack him methodically, intentionally. Get downhill quickly or pass it off, get into the post where you could give one or two dribbles straight at the rim and shoot over the top. Don't try to do this, shifting with the ball. Look, LeBron James has never been scared of Kawhi Leonard, ever. Go back and watch those NBA finals against the San Antonio Spurs. But what he learned to do was he said, to be efficient and to benefit my team maximally, I need to get this ball out of my hand so I do not play into their ploy, into the opposing team's ploy, which is to force me into my toughest shot, to take me away from getting my easiest shot and situating myself, meaning hunting a mismatch and making sure that I master how to get that mismatch. That is how I'm able to ensure that I maximize my efficiency. In the second half, Cade Cunningham struggled mightily. Now, I will say also, I've seen times where this team is setting screens, bringing Dyson Daniels to Cade Cunningham, or bringing Dyson Daniels to the ball handler, bringing them to Dennis Schroeder. If Dyson Daniels is guarding you by chance, you know what you're supposed to do? Go run your behind into the corner. Go and take your ass over there into the corner and sit there. And make Dyson Daniels into a weak side help defender so that when he shifts over, they can kick it to you for a wide open three. That's what you're supposed to do. Tobias Harris, if he's guarding you, hey, just post him up. Duren, if he's guarding you, just post him up. Don't even dribble a lot. Maybe one dribble, go right up over the top. Take advantage of mismatches. Make the game easy. And that takes discipline. It takes mental focus. And sometimes when you're scoring a whole lot, like Cade Cunningham was in the first half where he had 29, you think that that's what you can expect for the rest of the game. And that's the reason why he only had 9 in the second half. This should have been a 50-point game. This should have been a 50-point game. It should have been a blowout. The moment they started double teaming, right? JB Bickerstaff, you got to call a timeout and say, hey, look, as soon as you see the double coming, somebody flashes to the middle, we're immediately in action. But you're going to have to be quick and decisive because Dyson Daniels is going to be recovering. You're going to have a guard recovering, right? So you're going to need to get right down to the rim. Jalen Duren, don't pause, hesitate, turn. If you only have one defender in front of you, blow by him. So this is one of those games where the Detroit Pistons have the opportunity to learn a lot from it. Hopefully they do. I don't think Asar Thompson is going to be this bad again because he should be absolutely embarrassed. Asar Thompson, you should be absolutely embarrassed by how you played in this game. And I'm going to be 100% real. I've been your biggest fan, but you should be 100% embarrassed because what you did in this game was you left your team out to dry by being undisciplined. You left your team out to dry, getting 2 quick fouls, getting the 3rd and the 4th foul in the first half, as if there's not a whole other half of basketball to play. Getting caught reaching in and picking up that 4th foul. There was a lack of discipline. And as intensely as you are trying to play, you are going to do far more for this team's long-term outlook by slowing yourself down and being intentional than trying to just go out there and run through a wall. Yeah, that's what you did as a rookie. Okay, it's time to grow a little bit. You should be watching film of Dyson Daniels. You should be a huge fan of his. Because if you can learn that type of discipline, you should be watching Tumani Kamara, right? You should be watching Herb Jones. You should be watching some of these elite defenders and look at their discipline, how they stay out of foul trouble. The Dylan Brooks, how to be physical, how to get up into guys while not getting goaded into quick fouls, and now you're taken out of the game, right? And Cade Cunningham, it's also time for you to start learning how to draw fouls. It is overwhelmingly time for you to start learning how to draw fouls because there is an art to it. It is a part of the game. You are getting hacked. You are getting hacked. You're getting grabbed. They're doing all sorts of pulls and grabs because you're spinning around them, so they have to use that offhand to kind of pull you back. You are going to have to learn how to intentionally expose these individuals fouling you to get them into foul trouble. In fact, getting the opposing team into foul trouble is actually extremely beneficial for your team. I know you want to be one of those players that, hey, I'm not foul chasing, I'm not flopping. That doesn't mean flopping. It means expose them. Expose them. If they're grabbing you, flail. If it's a legit grab, flail. If you're getting hit and slapped, you know what? Go get the technical. Go get the technical and demand that they are looking. And then go right back at them the very next possession so that the ref can do a makeup call and see it. You're going to have to start playing more discipline because when you get to the playoffs, that's exactly what's going to win games and win around, not just the talent. But as always, I want to know what you all think of this video. What do you guys think of the points I made about discipline? What guys need to do to improve? Holler at me in the comment section. I'm going to get at y'all there. Holler at y'all later. Peace.